You reach into the bag for one more piece. Just one. You already told yourself that 5 minutes ago, and the one before that, and somehow the bag is half empty, and you don't remember making any decision to keep going. It just happened. You weren't even that hungry. So what exactly is going on inside you, and who or what is actually in charge? Here's the thing. This isn't a willpower problem. It was never a willpower problem. What's happening inside your body every time you eat sugar is one of the most sophisticated biological systems in human history. A system that kept your ancestors alive for hundreds of thousands of years. A system that is now, in the modern world, working perfectly and destroying you at the same time. Your brain has a reward circuit. It's called the mesolimbic dopamine pathway. That's a long name for a very simple idea. When you do something your ancestors needed to survive, your brain floods itself with a chemical that makes you want to do it again. Sex, warmth, social connection, and food, specifically calorie-dense food. Food that could mean the difference between surviving winter or not. Sugar hits that circuit like almost nothing else. The moment glucose hits your tongue, signals travel to your brain stem in under a second. Your dopamine neurons fire, and your brain registers one very clear instruction: more. This isn't metaphorical. Researcher Kent Berridge at the University of Michigan spent decades mapping what he called the wanting versus liking systems in the brain. What he found changed how scientists think about cravings forever. Dopamine, it turns out, isn't really about pleasure. It's about wanting. You don't crave sugar because it feels good. You crave it because your brain is designed to pursue it, regardless of whether you're actually enjoying it anymore. You can want something desperately and not even like it. Sound familiar? Now think about where you came from. Your earliest ancestors didn't have supermarkets. They didn't have refrigerators. They didn't have reliable harvests or backup plans. They had one job: find calories before the body runs out of them. And in nature, the foods highest in sugar were ripe fruit, honey, root vegetables at peak starch, seasonal, rare, often dangerous to obtain. The body learned to treat every sweet thing as an emergency opportunity. Get as much as you can, as fast as you can, because it might not be there tomorrow. That instinct is still inside you. It never left. Evolution doesn't update in real time. It moves across tens of thousands of years, and your body right now is still running on the same ancient software that evolved on the African savanna. The only thing that changed is the world around it. Anthropologist William Leonard at Northwestern University has studied the metabolic patterns of modern humans compared to hunter-gatherer populations still living today. His research found that humans are uniquely adapted to seek out and process dense carbohydrates, more so than almost any other primate. We didn't just tolerate sugar, we evolved to hunt it. A chimpanzee will eat fruit when it's available. Your ancestors built seasonal migration patterns around it. But here's the twist. The sugar your ancestors were hunting looked nothing like what you ate today. Wild fruit has roughly 10 to 15 grams of sugar per 100 grams. A modern soft drink contains around 11 grams per 100 milliliters, and you drink 500 milliliters without blinking. A chocolate bar can contain more refined sugar than a week's worth of forage fruit in the Pleistocene. Your reward system was built for a world where getting this much sugar was essentially impossible. Your brain never evolved a natural stopping point for it, because there was never a situation where it needed one. That's the trap you're in. Your brain hasn't been hacked. It's working exactly as designed. But the environment has changed faster than evolution can follow. And food companies have spent billions of dollars figuring out exactly how to exploit that gap. Howard Moskowitz is a food scientist who spent decades consulting for some of the largest food manufacturers in the world. His work, later documented in Michael Moss's investigative book Salt, Sugar, Fat, revealed something deeply uncomfortable. The food industry doesn't just add sugar to make things taste good. They engineer products to find what Moskowitz called the bliss point, the precise amount of sweetness that triggers the maximum craving response without ever fully satisfying it. Not the amount that tastes best, the amount that makes you want more. That is a different target, and they hit it deliberately in thousands of products. This isn't an accident, it isn't bad luck, it is the result of decades of research into your neurobiology, specifically aimed at keeping your dopamine system in a state of perpetual low-level activation. Never satisfied, always reaching. And it goes further than sugar itself, because sugar rarely arrives alone. Ultra-processed foods are engineered to combine sugar with fat and salt in ratios that don't exist in nature. Your taste receptors evolved to respond strongly to each of these separately, because each signals something valuable. Sugar means energy, fat means concentrated calories, salt means electrolytes. But in the wild, you almost never find all three together in high concentrations. Nature doesn't make chips. Nature doesn't make ice cream. When these signals arrive simultaneously, your brain doesn't know what to do with the intensity. It simply wants more. Neuroscientist Nicole Avena at Mount Sinai has spent years studying sugar's effects on the brain, using models that mirror human overconsumption. Her research found that repeated cycles of sugar intake and withdrawal produce neurological changes that look remarkably similar to addiction. Increased cravings, anxiety when access is removed, escalating consumption over time. The brain downregulates its dopamine receptors in response to repeated stimulation. That means you need more of the same thing to feel the same reward. The bar keeps rising. Your appetite doesn't shrink, it grows. So now you're sitting with something uncomfortable. The bag isn't half empty because you're weak. It's half empty because a system that evolved over 300,000 years to keep humans alive is responding perfectly to an environment specifically designed to exploit it. You were set up, not maliciously, not with your face in mind, but structurally, systematically. The modern food landscape was built around your vulnerabilities. Does that mean you have no control? No. But control looks different when you understand the mechanism. Willpower alone doesn't work against a dopamine-driven system because willpower is effortful and the wanting circuit is automatic. It runs below conscious decision-making. It fires before you have time to think. Research from the lab of psychologist Roy Baumeister has shown that self-control draws on a finite resource, one that depletes with use, stress, and lack of sleep. The same conditions, not coincidentally, that make food cravings more intense. What does work is changing the environment before the craving starts, not having the thing within reach, introducing friction, the small gap between impulse and action where your prefrontal cortex can catch up, eating in patterns that stabilize blood glucose, which reduces the frequency and intensity of cravings in the first place. These aren't hacks. They're working with the same biological logic your body already follows, just redirected. And maybe that's the most important shift. Not fighting your body, understanding it. The part of you that reaches for one more piece isn't broken. It's ancient. It's doing exactly what it was built to do. It's trying to take care of you the only way it knows how, the way it learned when the world was different, and the stakes were life and death. The world changed. Your brain didn't. And every time you reach into that bag, somewhere underneath the habit and the hunger, that original equation is still running. The one that says, get the energy while you can, because tomorrow it might be gone. You were never the problem, but now that you know what's actually happening, you're the only one who can change the equation.